Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you a review of the new Physicians Formula Butter Collection in collaboration with Holmes, and also a tutorial on the collection. So if you guys want to know all my thoughts about this new collection, then just keep on watching. So the new butter collection is now available on the Physicians Formula site and also Ulta for $19.95. This was obviously in collaboration with Holmes. Inside, you get all of these products. You get a butter bronzer in Deep, a butter blush, a butter highlighter, 4 eyeshadows, one of their new lip creams, and then the Butter Paradise is the same scent from the previous butter collections from Physicians Formula that they released earlier this year. And then most of what's in here is exclusive to this collection. The bronzer and the blush are not limited edition, but the highlighter, all the eyeshadows, and the lip cream shade are all exclusive to just this collaboration with Holmes. And then getting into the sizes of some of the products in here, the butter bronzer is half the size of a full-size bronzer. That's how much product you get. The blush, you get about 75% of what you get in a full size. And then the butter highlighter, you actually get a little bit more than a full size butter highlighter in here. So you definitely get like a really good value just with like the face products alone for $19.95. So getting into all of the swatches, I'm wearing every single shade in the palette on my face today. Here we have the 4 eyeshadows. You have 2 like deeper transition shades, a base color and a pop of color. Here is the deep bronzer, the blush, the butter highlighter, and the lip cream. And I was actually kind of surprised that all of the eyeshadows, except for this like light base color, are a little bit deeper and bolder, but you can definitely use all of the face products as eyeshadows too. I do that all the time. Whenever I'm using a butter bronzer, I will always use the butter bronzer also as my transition for my crease. Anytime that I use my butter bronzer, that's what I end up doing, just because it's like a really nice neutral shade. And then I use the butter highlighter as an eyeshadow, probably more than I use it as a highlighter. So definitely keep that in mind too, because with the butter highlighter formula, it does dry down to cream, and I apply it like all over my lid at least once a week. That's like one of my go-tos, and it doesn't crease up or anything. So you can definitely have like a little bit more of a like simple neutral look if you want to apply this all over your lid as well. But that's gonna be everything for all of the shades and all the products in this collection. And let's go ahead into the tutorial so you guys can see how all the products apply. All right, so I'm gonna be doing a pretty quick and easy look with the palette. We'll see if I'm feeling lashes once I get through the eye look, but I'm gonna start off with this base color, Do Not Disturb, and I'm just gonna apply that all over my lid. And then the matte shadows are pretty pigmented, so I'm gonna go in pretty lightly with no filter. Just apply that in my crease. I think I do want to use every shade in the palette so I can show you guys. So I might get a little bit more dramatic, but like the matte formula is like super soft and creamy. Then I'm gonna drop it like it's hot, and I'm just gonna build that up in my crease a little bit more. I have a feeling this is gonna get, it's gonna get more intense just because I want to use all of the bolder shades in the palette. So I'm just taking a flat brush, and I did wet my brush and just taking it into the shade Pom Poms, getting that Christmas vibe going. I'm just gonna keep applying that all over and kind of transition into my crease a little bit. I'm definitely feeling like so Christmas right now. And this is my first video without my Christmas tree. I took down my tiny Christmas tree in my background, but my real Christmas tree is still up because now it's just a 2019 tree. So let me know if you guys still have your Christmas tree up, because I don't know how I'm gonna get mine back in the box. So it's gonna stay there for a little bit. So on my lower lash, I'm gonna do a little bit of no filter. I just love a warm crease and green shadow. Like I could live in that. And then I'm also gonna take Pom Poms on my lower lash line, so my lower lash line doesn't look like red. And then I'm also gonna add the Just Beachy highlighter. Taking a little pencil brush, adding this to my inner corner. So I threw on some lashes, and then moving on to the face, I'm gonna start off with the deep butter bronzer. And this is the only thing I'm gonna be wearing as bronzer today. Usually I do like a contour shade and then a bronzer on top. And this bronzer has a little bit more of a satin finish compared to the original butter bronzer. That one's a bit more matte. All right, so here is a shade comparison. This is the original butter bronzer and just the shade bronzer. So here is a shade bronzer, and then this is deep bronzer. So it's like 2 shades deeper. This is like my original butter bronzer that I bought when it first came out. I'm still on my first one. But that's the shade comparison in case you guys have not tried out that shade yet. And then next to the blush in Copacabana. This is a pretty bold shade and it is really pigmented, so I do want to go in with a pretty light hand. And it does have a little bit of a shimmer to it. It reminds me a little bit of like a more mauve-y tone, or mauve version of my favorite Burt's Bees blush in Toasted Cinnamon, where it's that like blush bronzer look. And then for the butter highlighter, I've seen people apply it with a stipple brush or a fan brush. I always apply it with my fingertips. So like you can definitely do any of the above, but this is just the way that I've always applied it. And that way you get like a pretty pigmented look. And what I love about these, like sometimes with cream products, if you layer it on top of powder, it like wipes away the powder. But these dry down and don't mess with whatever powder you have underneath. So I want to show you guys a comparison of the butter highlighter in Just Beachy to my favorite butter highlighter, which is Champagne. Mine is all broken, and this was broken for a long time. Physicians Formula actually sent me a new one, but I still use the broken one because I didn't want it to go to waste, and this is like one of my favorite highlighters. So this is a shade Champagne that's already in the Physicians Formula collection. It's a lot more gold compared to Just Beachy, and I really love this shade. It's like very similar to the Amrezy highlighter, because that's the kind of shade that goes with like any kind of eye look. So lastly, the butter lip creams just released right before the holidays from Physicians Formula, and I actually bought this one in Soaking Up the Sun. I love this so much. And then this one is the new one in Pop the Bubbly. This one is limited edition for this collection. It's more of like a satin pinky tone, but if you guys want a nude color, Soaking Up the Sun, this is gonna be my favorite. I've been wearing this all the time. This is Soaking Up the Sun, and then this is Pop the Bubbly from the Casey Holmes collection, just in case you guys want to see another like nudie tone shade. But the reason I really love these is because it brings back so much nostalgia to 2 of my all-time holy grail lip products that I used to wear all the time. One of them is completely discontinued, and that's the Revlon Lip Butters. Reminds me so much of that product from like years ago. And then also the Maybelline Baby Lips, like those kind of lip balm, lip gloss, hybrid products. So this color specifically definitely has like a very shimmery finish to it. It really reminds me of the shade of the original Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. That's what it really reminds me of. Kind of like a tinted balm that gives you a little bit more color payoff. Really like these. I love like really simple lip products like this. And then also of course we have the butter perfume. I already have this from another Physicians Formula collection. I wear this like almost every single day. This is 0.5 of an ounce, and it lasts you a really long time because I got it back in the spring and I still have like 3/4 of my original bottle left, and I really love the smell of this. I'm also addicted to the smell of coconut and like coconut everything. If a beauty product has coconut or coconut scent, I buy it. So if you like that tropical vibe, you would really like this. It's not like so overpowering like a pina colada or anything. It just is like beachy and clean at the same time. It just smells like you took a shower with a bunch of like tropical scented products. So that's what I really like, that it's not like an overwhelming scent. All right, so this is the completed look with everything in the collection. I'll probably be switching to like a nude matte lip in a little bit, to just kind of go with this eye look a little bit more, but I did want to show you guys and commit to like all the products in the collection. So overall, I'm really happy with the formula of everything in here. I've always loved all of the butter products from Physicians Formula, all of the face products, and then they did recently come out with eyeshadows, and I want to give you guys a little bit of a follow-up on those eyeshadow palettes. I have both of them, and I will link my review for you guys down below. The Sultry Nights and the Tropical Days palette, I swatched both palettes, and then I had a really weird reaction with the green shade in this Sultry Nights palette, and this is more of like a foiled creamy texture, this specific shade. and I figured out why that happened. Actually, a subscriber figured out why that was happening, because it ended up like staining red, and that's because I was using a makeup wipe, and this is the makeup wipes that I use, the Simple Micellar wipes. I've never ever had an issue with those. I've been using those for years. I love them. But the weirdest thing happened when I used this to remove my makeup, and this green eyeshadow, it ended up staining red. But with a regular facial cleanser or just soap and water, anytime I swatch that shade, I have no issue whatsoever. So it's so weird that specifically combining a micellar wipe with this green eyeshadow caused staining, but otherwise like that doesn't happen, which is so weird. Like I kept trying like different facial cleansers and soaps, and I wasn't getting staining other than using a micellar wipe. So let me know if you guys end up having that specific issue, because that was just like, I still don't get it, but it explains it a little bit better. So that's just an update with the green color in the Sultry Nights palette. I didn't have an issue with any other shades in this palette or any of the shades in this palette. It was literally just that one shadow. But the formula of the green that I have on my eyes today from the Casey Holmes collab is different from that formula. This is more of like a satin shimmer, and that one is like more of a foiled shadow. So that's just like an update on that in case you guys watched that video. And if you haven't checked it out, I will leave it in my description box if you guys want to see swatches and a review of those butter palette. But I didn't have any issues with these shadows in this collection. I'm really loving the matte formula of eyeshadows from Physicians Formula in their butter collection, because it's like super buttery and pigmented and blendable in a way that I have not seen from drugstore shadows. Sometimes drugstore shadows will have like really good shimmer shades, and then the mattes are like a little bit dry or chalky, but these are super creamy and super pigmented. So I really am impressed, especially with the matte shades. The shimmers are really nice too, but really like the matte shades, because I don't really see that formula from drugstore shadows. And then all of the face products, it's the same formula if you're familiar with like the butter highlighters, blushes, and bronzers, which are products that I use all the time anyways. And then I would say the biggest downside for sure with the palette is the packaging. It is pretty bulky packaging. And then here is the butter collection that came out earlier in the spring, so you guys can get like a size reference. And I thought this was bulky, and then this is like way bigger. It's the same thickness, but it's just like a bit bigger. So it is pretty bulky for sure. I'm not like, in this one, I don't keep the perfume in here, so it's just empty. I wish that they had done like maybe this packaging and then inside like a palette that you can just take out and like take on the go. I would love if they do like a face palette with a butter formula that's more compact in the future, and like definitely not this bulky packaging, because I'm definitely not going to keep these products in here. I'm just going to move these like onto my vanity or into my purse, and then it'll just be really big for just this size. All right, so that's gonna be everything for this review of the new butter collection with Casey Holmes. I actually got to get this palette at her launch party, and I got to meet Casey Holmes, which was so exciting because she lives really far away, and I never thought I would be able to meet her. I've been watching her, I think since like right out of college, like 6 or 7 years ago. She's like one of the first beauty people that I discovered on YouTube. So exciting to meet her. Congrats on this collab to Casey Holmes, and I'm so excited to follow her through her pregnancy. I'm so happy for her. I just think she's a really awesome person, so I thought they picked a really great person to collab with. And if you guys haven't tried like some of the butter products, this is like a really good value since you do get a lot of product in the palette. So that's gonna be everything for this review. If you guys liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you guys soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.